Abdur Gur Shayuel Biwa Summers Patimta. Begin all things by first using the all. Greetings. I am Kaunabo Ankh Anubu Il, and my debtor's name is Christopher George Nogueras. This is my statutory declaration for public notice. I, Christopher George Nogueras, now known as Kaunabo Ankh Anubu Il, Middletown, New York, do solemnly declare in accord with the 1931 Statute of Westminster, 1778 Article of Confederation and Perpetual Union Art, 1812 Treaty of Ghent, 1794 Jay Treaty, 1836 Treaty of Marrakesh, Morocco, all recognized and valid treaties, Constitution for the United States of America, the 1948 Charter of the United Nations, Pope's Apology to Indigenous Peoples, United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, the American Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, and the UN International Decade for People of African Descent, that upon discovering that the registration of live birth of July 27, 1982, in Brooklyn, New York, was a contract between my mother and the state of New York, who did not tell her she was selling me a flesh and blood child to the state of New York as their chattel property, slave, which is a violation of human rights. I hereby void the contract ab initio for fraud. I am an Atoxan, flesh and blood male of Taino and Arawak descent. In accord with the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples and HJR 194. United States Senate Apology to African Americans for Slavery, U.S. Apology to the Native Americans, Department of Defense Appropriation Act, and Regina versus Ja. I declare that the name Christopher George Nogueras on the registration of live birth is a corporation, and Christopher George Nogueras is an Atoxan, flesh and blood male of Taino and Arawak descent. I am not a corporation, artificial person, natural person, fictitious entity, or vessel of the United States defined under Title 18 U.S.C. 9, and I give notice internationally, domestically, universally, via this declaration that I deny corporate existence on the reservation of all my rights, unalienable and otherwise. I am an Atoxan, indigenous of this planet, and I make this solemn declaration conscientiously, believing it to be true, and that is the same force and effect as if made under oath. That's my statutory declaration. And I have mailed this to the governor of New York State. Here's the receipt. Here. Here's the label. Here. Now, UPS was giving me a problem when I was tracking my package. The computer system was saying that they couldn't locate, or the staff couldn't locate the office of Andrew Cuomo, and they said that it was going to be returned to me. But when I called and I told them that there's got to be an error or something, this is how you know Chief Nanya Shabu L, registered copyright trademark, and all his work is causing an effect and an anomaly here in the matrix. So it says return to sender, which is not true. It was delivered, and when I called in, the lady that I spoke to told me it was delivered on Wednesday, October 21st, 2020 at 10:47 a.m. See, it says return to sender. It says return Albany, New York. I don't live in Albany, New York. That's where his office is, in Albany, New York, Capitol Building. And it was left at dock and received by Felt. So it was delivered. This is my cover letter to Andrew Cuomo, Governor of the State of New York, signed here. Statutory Declaration. Statutory Declaration. It's notarized and signed here. It's Chief Nanya Shabuel, registered copyright trademark. That was my statutory declaration for public notice. And if anyone has any question on how to correctly fill out your SF-181 and your statutory declaration, feel free to contact the Atsakata Nation of Yamasee Moors, Chief Nanya Shabuel, registered copyright trademark, and Sa'oset Taweret, registered copyright trademark, at ASP WEBIN as in Nancy AR at protonmail.com. Again, ASP webinar at protonmail.com. If you have any questions or interested on getting into the toxin standing process. So you have the contact info there. Again, that was my statutory declaration video for public notice. Again, I am alive. I am a flesh and blood, a toxin, indigenous, male of Taino and Arawak descent. I am not dead. I am alive. I am white, a person having origins in any of the original peoples of Europe, the Middle East, or North Africa. I am American Indian and Alaskan Native, a person having origins in any of the original peoples of North and South America, including Central America, or who maintain tribal affiliation or community attachment. Much appreciated for watching. Abugador, White Power, Poder Blanco. Wadu.